The three biggest canned tuna brands in America ran a criminal price-fixing cartel. That's not an accusation. It's a federal conviction. Starkist pleaded guilty and was fined $100 million. Bumblebee pleaded guilty, paid $25 million, and its CEO was convicted at trial and sentenced to prison. The companies conspired to keep the price of your tuna artificially high for years. And that's before we talk about what's actually in the cans. Today, I'm exposing 11 canned tuna brands and products to stop buying and 5 you can trust. We start with the biggest fish in the case. Number 11, Starkist. Charlie the tuna has been winking at American shoppers since 1961. And in 2019, the company behind him became a convicted felon. Starkist pleaded guilty to conspiring with its competitors to fix the price of canned tuna, drawing the maximum criminal fine of $100 million, plus a wave of civil settlements with retailers. And while the executives were coordinating prices, the product was quietly shrinking. Cans across the industry dropped from 6 ounces to 5, a shrinkflation move that stuck. So you paid a rig price for a smaller can. The fish itself is standard skipjack, heavy on water and salt in the cheap varieties. It's not the worst tuna in the aisle. It's just tuna sold to you by a cartel. And its co-conspirator is up next. Number 10, Bumblebee. Bumblebee didn't just participate in the price-fixing conspiracy. Its CEO, Christopher Liszewski, was personally convicted by a federal jury and sentenced to more than 3 years in prison. The criminal fine helped push Bumblebee into bankruptcy in 2019, after which it was sold to a Taiwanese seafood conglomerate. Think about that chain of events. A 100-year-old American brand fixed prices on a pantry staple, got caught, went bankrupt, and got sold, and the cans never left the shelf. Most shoppers have no idea any of it happened. The third member of the cartel avoided the worst of it, and you should still know their name. Number 9, Chicken of the Sea. Chicken of the Sea was the third company in the conspiracy, and it escaped criminal fines by racing to the government first and cooperating under the leniency program. Smart lawyering, but the underlying conduct was the same. Beyond the cartel, their budget sardine and tuna lines are packed in soybean oil, which floods omega-6 fats into a product people buy specifically for omega-3s. When a company's biggest legal victory is snitching on its own price-fixing partners, that's the corporate culture behind your lunch. Quick pause. Hit like and subscribe because we dig up the receipts on brands every single week. All set? Because the next problem isn't corporate, it's chemical. Number 8, cheap albacore white tuna. Albacore sells as the premium white tuna, and it carries a premium of something else. Mercury. Albacore are bigger, older fish than skipjack, and they accumulate roughly 3 times the mercury. The FDA and EPA guidance reflects this, advising pregnant women and children to limit albacore to 1 serving a week, versus more generous limits for light tuna. Budget albacore brands rarely test individual fish, so a can is a lottery ticket. If you eat tuna often, and especially if you're feeding kids, mystery-sourced albacore is the riskiest habit in the aisle. And the next product manages to make even light tuna worse. Number 7, tuna packed in vegetable or soybean oil. Here's a trick hiding in plain sight. Oil-packed tuna sounds luxurious, but check which oil. Budget brands use soybean or generic vegetable oil, which does 2 bad things. It leaches omega-3s out of the fish and into the oil you drain away, and it adds omega-6 fats that work against the omega-3s you kept. If you're buying tuna for heart and brain benefits, soybean oil packing quietly refunds those benefits into your sink. Water-packed or olive oil-packed only. The next offender waters down the can in a more literal way. Number 6, store brand chunk light with vegetable broth and fillers. Flip over the cheapest store brand can and read past the tuna. Water, vegetable broth, soy protein in some cases, and salt. Vegetable broth sounds harmless, but it's a flavor patch for overprocessed fish, and soy additives stretch the protein claim. These cans also tend to be the mushiest because they're made from smaller fragments of fish pressed together. When your tuna needs broth to taste like tuna, the ocean is not the main supplier. The next entry is a labeling illusion. Number 5, Tuna Creations, pouches, and flavored kits with long labels. The flavored pouch aisle has exploded, and so have the ingredient lists. Sweet chili, ranch, lemon pepper. Many of these pouches carry added sugar, maltodextrin, MSG-style flavor enhancers, and sodium counts that turn a health food into a salt lick. The tuna inside is often the lowest grade the brand sells because the sauce hides everything. You're paying snack food prices for seasoning packets with a fish garnish. And the next issue affects nearly every big brand at once. Number 4, tuna with no catch method on the label. Sustainable-sounding logos are everywhere, but here's the simple test. Does it say how and where the fish was caught? Poll in line, troll caught, FAD free. If the label is silent, the fish almost certainly came from industrial purseine fleets using fish aggregating devices, a method notorious for high bycatch of sharks, turtles, and juvenile tuna. Big brands have made public sustainability pledges for years, and watchdog groups like Greenpeace have repeatedly ranked the giants near the bottom of their tuna scorecards. Silence on a label is an answer. The next entry is the fastest growing trick in seafood. Number 3, imported tuna with untraceable supply chains. A large share of canned tuna is processed in facilities scattered across the world, and investigations by journalists, including an Associated Press series that won a Pulitzer Prize, have exposed forced labor and horrific working conditions in parts of the seafood supply chain. The big brands have all promised reforms, but when it can cost less than $1, somebody in that chain paid the difference. Traceability, the ability to know which vessel caught your fish, is the only real fix, and the cheap brands don't offer it. The last 2 spots go to products pretending to be something they're not. Number 2, tuna salad kits and prepared tuna spreads. The ready-made tuna salad cups and spreads take low-grade tuna and drown it in soybean oil, mayo, sugar, and preservatives. Some kits deliver more fat from the dressing than protein from the fish, with 2 days' worth of sodium riding along. Tuna salad takes 90 seconds to make at home with ingredients you control. The kit sells you convenience and keeps the nutrition as a service fee. And number 1 is the oldest scam in seafood. Number 1, anything just labeled fish flakes or tuna flakes at rock-bottom prices. In some markets, the very cheapest cans contain flakes, the scraped-together fragments from processing, sometimes from species you wouldn't choose. Seafood fraud studies using DNA testing have repeatedly found mislabeled species across the industry worldwide. The lower the price and the vaguer the label, the higher the odds your tuna had a different name when it was swimming. There you have it. A price-fixing conviction, a CEO in prison, and 5 honest cans that never needed a courtroom. Now, if you think tuna had problems, wait until you see what's in the cereal your kids ate this morning. Some of those boxes are more than half sugar, and one famous brand was linked to a nationwide salmonella outbreak. That's the next video. Don't miss it.